This episode is sponsored by the new MS in Business Analytics program at Chapman University's Argyros College of Business and Economics. In just 10 months, this STEM-designated MSBA program will equip you with cutting-edge skills in machine learning, data visualization, cloud infrastructure, and more. You'll not only analyze data, but learn to tell compelling stories that shape the future of business. Located in sunny Southern California, Chapman University offers a unique learning experience at the intersection of tech and creativity, with specialized courses in areas like entertainment and real estate analytics, and access to an extensive alumni network. The MSBA program prepares you to lead in any industry. Are you ready to unlock the power of data and make an impact? Learn more and start your journey today at chapman.edu/MSBA.
My name is Henrik Kronqvist, and I'm the Dean of the Argyros College of Business and Economics at Chapman University in Southern California. Today, we're very excited to be talking to Gracia O'Donnell. She's class of 2023, and she's working as a data analyst on the strategy and analytics team for the LA Rams.
My name is Tori Nguyen. I'm the class of 2026 of the Argyros College of Business and Economics, and we're so happy to have Gracia here with us for Campus to Career. Let's kick it off with the first question, which we love to ask our guests, and that is, tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you were today. Was there a specific turning point, childhood memory, especially working where you are now?
Thank you, Tori. Thanks, Henrik. I'm really excited to be here. I definitely credit a lot of my growth to Chapman. I'm super excited to talk to you guys. Yeah, so I am originally from Colorado. I came to Chapman as a political science major with the intention of declaring a double major in economics and minoring in Spanish, actually, so that I could go into the field of international relations and diplomacy. I had kind of always considered myself more of a strong writer, not so much someone who was good at dealing with numbers. So entering the world of business analytics or anything tangential to what I do now, I never even really allowed on my radar up until I got to Chapman. And then as I was going through my first couple years, I initially really only wanted to study economics for the theory, but I was required to take classes like business statistics, business analytics, and business calculus. And I found myself having a surprising amount of fun doing math and learning to build these simple models in Excel. And then I took an actual analytics class. I think it was the intro to business analytics class for sure. And I was exposed to programming and coding for the first time. I coded in RStudio for the first time in econometrics. And I realized that I was liking it so much that I should probably look into taking this more seriously and seeing if this is something that I actually want to integrate into my future. So I took an introductory computer science class, and then I took intro to data science. I remember I took it with Dr. Parlat Palaridi, and that was the class where I really took the dive and I fell in love with analytics, genuinely fell in love with it. I had so much fun learning, especially in that classroom environment, because like I said, I thought that I was more word leaning, less numbers leaning. And so I didn't have a lot of confidence in this period. So I was really grateful that Dr. Parlat had such a really carefree classroom environment. And I was able to get my first exposure to statistical models, to machine learning. And then after that, I had my first internship in sports, and that was the final nail in the coffin. I was totally sold, and I've just been trying to put in as much work as I can in order to get better at it ever since.
That's really cool to hear. So you are in the sports industry, and now what does it mean with like analytics in the sports industry? Can you tell us a little bit about that? What does that entail in practice in business?
Yeah, so practically speaking, from a technical standpoint, I live in SQL, Tableau, and Alteryx, just in the same way that a lot of data analysts in other industries would. All of those I was introduced to at Chapman. And those are three, in at least my observation, that are more universally applicable tools within business analytics. What I've realized in my short time post-grad is that within the overarching field, there are platforms and programs and softwares that are more universally applicable, things like programming languages and data visualization softwares like the ones I mentioned. Some others would be the classics, Python, Power BI, and those can be leveraged by basically any industry. And then I found in my experience in sports that there are more role and organizationally specific tools. So things like developer portals and data warehouses, and it's a lot less likely that you'll get hands-on experiences with those in any classroom just because they're so niche. And so I think that is where the flexibility of my coursework at Chapman has helped me out entering the sports industry. That kind of liberal arts aspect of my degree, where I got to explore a lot of different fields within business, analytics, computer science. I tried out a lot of different things in those first few years, some of which I honestly have not touched since, as is normal for a student. But just that experience of bouncing between topics and skills, that gave me some preparation for all of the new analytics tools that I now encounter in the sports industry. So hopefully that's a little bit of insight on the college skills and how they've translated.
That's really great. Speaking of your industry in itself, let's move closer into what is it like being in the foundation of the American culture? Do you feel like a certain pride or identity attached to that?
Yeah, that's honestly such a good question. Thank you. Really thank you for asking that, because I think it gets at the core of why I fell in love with sports and during my first internship, and why I love working where I do now, and why I love the industry as a whole. I really candidly hope it doesn't come off as too corny, but it really is the way that I feel. And I hope that it's the way that a lot of people who want to work in sports feel as well, is when you zoom out, we're working in an industry that is like the center of people's childhoods, and it's the foundation of friendships, like parent teacher relationships. It's the foundation of so many communities, and that is really special. And I definitely acknowledge and I'm very proud to play a small part in that happiness that sports gives its fans. That's a large when I got that internship for the first time, that was a big motivator of why I wanted to break into the industry, because that is what's really fulfilling to me, to feel like what I'm contributing to at the end of the day is really people having fun and building so many different types of communities. And so I love that I get to do my niche little computer analytics business strategy job in a way that, like, in the simplest terms, just gets to make people happy.
Yeah, that's I think about sports as being part of the broader entertainment industry, and that's of course very prevalent here in Southern California with Hollywood and beyond. So, but there's important business roles in there, which is exactly what you are pursuing. You mentioned this a little bit before, but maybe we can dig into a little bit more on some of the technical and analytical skills that you think that if you're a college graduate, so you go out into the real world, what are some of the skills that you think, and not only where you work, but in general, that you think that the entrance into the job market should have?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that pops into my head is just adaptability. No matter where you go, there's always going to be something new, no matter if it's within the same industry or not. Even within the same company, you could get a promotion, or you can switch roles within the company and be exposed to new softwares, new platforms, and or have new expectations put on you. And so adaptability and just a willingness to take on new things as they come is huge. I'd say from a more holistic standpoint, it is important to kind of find your niche first. Find your academic or professional interest that really excites you, and use that as your leverage when you want to break into sports. That's when I was first looking into what I could do in the sports industry. And as I've integrated myself more, I've realized that there are such a wide variety of skills that are needed to keep sports teams, agencies, or any entity within the industry afloat. So you're okay to focus in on those more analytical and technical skills. Honestly, it doesn't even have to be data analytics oriented. Anything that you are passionate about, I guarantee a sports team will need. So finding like the adaptability and then taking the time to find your niche and find something that you are passionate about and having a passion, those are like the two biggest skills that I've observed.
That's really great. Students are always looking for advice when it comes to picking those jobs. And speaking of students in itself, I'd like to ask what quote, novel, or piece of work can students live by to help them get through tough times? And what do you live by to help you get through those things as well?
Yeah. So what I live by, I mean, I do love a good book. When I need to turn to a book, novel, or quote during tough times, though, I turn to nostalgic things that personally for me is old, like epic poetry that I read in high school. And so I don't know if I'm gonna advise other college students to read Dante Alighieri in their free time. You guys already have enough on your plates. But what else I've been really trying to lean into is really just gratitude to get through tough times. I know that I'm at a point in my life where everything is still changing. I'm only a year and a half out of undergrad, and admittedly, I am still figuring out a lot of big picture things. So when I get overwhelmed or I need to ground myself for any reason, it's the easiest to go back to basics and just think about, honestly, my family is my core for me. So when I go back to basics and gratitude, I think about my family. I know it's not revolutionary or anything, but I do really want to make my parents proud. So when I'm going through tough times, just thinking about the work that my mom put in to get me to where I am today, and how grateful I am that my family encourages me to pursue the life that I am pursuing, and just how much I love and appreciate that they're cheering me on just for being me. And that really helps put everything else into perspective and reminds me that what actually matters at the end of the day is still intact. And so I can handle everything else knowing that. And so I think it's nothing groundbreaking, but my advice would be, if you can, just think about your gratitude, think about other people in your life that have given you things that you've benefited from, and just getting back to basics, slowing down, and appreciating the holistic things like your family, your friends, living in Southern California, going to Chapman, things like that.
100%, 100%. Living in Southern California, that's a beautiful place. Hey, what kind of advice do you have for students that are looking to go into the sports industry? Do you have to be like a sports person? I guess you have to be interested in sports. Probably a lot of our students, they want to go into that industry. So how do you pull that off?
Yes. So actually, I have met many people in the sports industry that do not pay attention to the sport that they work in. A lot of people do, though. And so I mentioned this earlier. I think this, like exactly what you just said. What I mentioned earlier is finding your niche first. Um, Focus on finding your academic or professional technical interest, and know that you can find sports from that. Because when you're applying for a position in sports, being passionate about the sport themselves is so great from a personal standpoint. I would hope that everybody tries to work in an industry that they genuinely care about. It's personally made my career a lot more enjoyable. But especially in sports, it's not necessarily what's going to set you apart from other candidates. Hiring managers in the sports industry are just like hiring managers in any other industry, and that they're looking for someone who will be the most successful in their role. And first and foremost, that means your skills and your ability to do the job at hand. And that then extends to other things that would make you a good employee. So my advice would be to don't rely on your love of sports itself. Try to use your love of sports, if you have it, in tandem with your appreciation for something else. For me, it's data analytics, in order to give you a leg up, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, like the entire conversation did today. Gracia O'Donnell is class of 2023 from Chapman, and we have been talking to her today. She's a data analyst on the strategy and analytics team for LA Rams. And congratulations on all your success, and we look forward to continue to follow your career in the future as well. Thank you so much for participating today.